This Sunday is the first Sunday in our Lenten journey as we travel towards Easter. And as Chris reminded us in the sermon on Ash Wednesday, just because we are observing a time of introspection and somberness, that doesn't mean that it is entirely without joy, particularly on the Sundays in Lent. You'll notice that we usually have Sundays of a season, so the second Sunday of Advent, or the third Sunday of Easter. But we refer to the Sundays in this season as being Sundays in Lent, because we are in the Lenten season. But of course, every Sunday, by virtue of the fact that we have the Eucharist, is a celebration of the resurrection of Christ. Every Sunday is a mini Easter. So we are to continue through this time with that knowledge of resurrection in our hearts and in our minds, and that of course brings us joy, even as we are having a time where we can think about the rebirth that is happening inside of our own lives and those things that we need to let go of as we move towards resurrection. And it's of course very fitting that we mark that mood in the music and the prayers that we have during this season. So of course the collects, those prayers that begin the service, take on a much more introspective tone. The readings are similarly more meditative during the season, and the music will be the same. As we have done since the pandemic, for almost the last 5 years, we will begin our Sundays in Lent with the Kyrie eleison. The Kyrie eleison, those words are from the Greek. They're even older than the Latin forms of the Mass, but Kyrie eleison is Lord have mercy, Christe eleison, Christ have mercy, Kyrie eleison, Lord have mercy. It's a very brief setting that happens right at the beginning of the service, and the congregation is certainly invited to join the choir or to just simply pray during that time. Also the Sanctus, the Holy, 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 and the memorial acclamation, and the fraction anthem when the bread is broken at communion. All of those elements of music are drawn from a collection called New Plain Song by the New York-based composer David Hurd. So even though they sound kind of ancient, sort of like plain song, they are actually new plain song that David Hurd composed in the 70s, and he actually intended them to be sung unaccompanied, although he did provide organ accompaniments for all of those. So at least at the beginning of the season, we will be having some organ support for those. But maybe as we get closer to Holy Week, we sometimes will even experiment with having those be, as Dr. Hurd intended, to be unaccompanied. But look for those changes in the service music, and I hope that you'll really embrace them, and I hope that they help foster that spirit of introspection during this season. Another thing that we are bringing back, it's been a while since we have regularly sung psalms on Sunday morning. And one of the things that Chris has been very interested in doing is having that. Several of the folks from the congregation, many of you have spoken to us over the years about wanting the psalms to make an appearance again in our liturgy. And we are taking this time, the season shift into the season of Lent, to be a catalyst for us to bring the psalms back. And so we'll be doing them with a plain song setting. So these are the ancient church modes that date back over 1,000 years. And there will be a refrain that the congregation will be invited to sing, both at the beginning and then periodically after several verses through the psalm. So the refrain for this Sunday, God shall give the angels charge over you. Very much like plain song, it is all mostly stepwise. There are just a few skips. It's mostly just neighbor notes going up and down in a scalar passage. Very easy to sing. At communion, the choir will be singing a piece by the contemporary-ish 20th century English composer George Oldroyd, but it's setting words that are very, very old by Richard Rolle. Richard Rolle lived from about 1300 to 1349. He may have died of the Black Plague, we're not exactly sure, but he's considered really to be one of the first, if not the first, known English authors, writing in the very beginning of the 14th century, and we know quite a bit about his adult life, and a lot of that from his autobiographical writings. And it's a very ancient text, and so some of the linguistics are a little bit foreign to us, and yet it has that immediacy of expression in praying to Jesus in this time that we are seeking to have that rebirth happen in our lives. So we have a lot of things shifting as we move into this new season. We hope that as you begin your Lenten journey, you will come with us here at St. John's as we journey towards the cross and then on beyond towards resurrection.